When you start sewing, make sure that your presser foot pressure is here on 2, and most of the time you can just leave it on 2. Your needle thread tension needs to be here on 4 or between 5 and 3. If you need to make fine adjustments, you can do it that way. This is your reverse lever, and when you push it down, make sure you push it all the way down to sew in reverse, and then let it back up and you'll sew forward again. When you start sewing, start out using quilting cotton or something similar that's a lightweight fabric that's woven. And when you start, make sure that your machine is set up correctly. You can check out my threading video for proper threading. For regular straight stitching, you want to be in this area between 0 and 4. This is your stitch selector dial. For straight stitching, you want to be on this first one here. If you look really closely, you can see that little dot in that oval there. That represents where your needle is going to be. This is the center needle position. Now if you go over here, you're now stitching straight, but with a right side needle position. To do zigzag, we've got this range right here. Those are the most commonly used stitches. You've got other stitches here, and the 3 different stitches on each one of these refer to your settings on your stitch length dial. For most normal straight stitching, you want it right here on this setting. You want your needle to be in the center needle position. Make sure your fabric is underneath the foot. You don't want to be starting to sew off the fabric because that could give you a thread tangle. And then you also want to make sure that the edge of your fabric is along one of these lines. Now I prefer the 5/8 inch line because most sewing patterns have a 5/8 inch seam allowance. The seam allowance is the distance between the edge of your fabric and your needle. Now remember, your presser foot lever is in back here. It needs to be down when you sew, because if you have it up, you're just going to get thread tangles. Line that up just right, and you can start about 1/4 inch in from the edge on your fabric. Okay, now put your finger up here on the reverse button, but don't push it down yet until you've made a couple of stitches. Start out sewing slowly. Go back a little bit with your reverse key, sew forward, and now what you want to look at is watch the edge of your fabric in relation to this line right here. That's where you're watching. Now I could sew faster. The more you press on the pedal, the faster it'll go, kind of like driving a car. Now when I get to the edge of the fabric, I'm not going to get all the way to the edge of the fabric. I stop within about 1/4 inch. Then I press my reverse key again, stitch back about 3 stitches, and stop. Now I happen to stop with the needle down. What I want to do is roll my hand wheel forward until the needle is up and the take-up lever is up. That means it has completed a stitch. Now if your needle is simply out of your fabric, I'm going to show you what that looks like by taking off the bobbin cover. Lift up your presser foot, and you notice it's hard to get your fabric out of there. That's because your take-up lever hasn't completed the stitch. So I'm going to turn my hand wheel until the top thread comes around the bobbin case and disappears. But you don't need to watch this every time. I'm just showing you for educational purposes. That's why we want to have our take-up lever all the way up. Lift up your presser foot, pull your fabric out, and cut your thread on the side cutter like this. And we've sewn our first seam. It's also important to make sure you have a back stitch at the beginning and at the end. That will help your stitches to keep from unsewing. Now I put about 3 stitches here and about 2 stitches here. It doesn't really matter a whole lot. You don't want it too long and you don't want it too short. You can do a longer stitch if you want to and a shorter stitch. I'll show you how to do that. Longer stitch would be over here on your stitch length dial. Turn that all the way up to 4. Now I'm going to stop with my needle down, lift up my presser foot, and you can see that's a much longer stitch. Now you can do a very short stitch length like that, but for most normal sewing, between 2 and 3 is the correct stitch length. Now whenever you change the stitch selector dial, make sure that your needle is up. because as you notice, when I move this to a different setting, it moves the needle. So if that needle was down in the fabric and I started sewing with a different stitch, it may end up breaking the needle. I don't want that to happen. So make sure that needle is up out of the fabric before you go to something else. Now we're going to go to zigzag over here on the stitch selector dial. Also, when you're starting to sew, it's a good idea to keep your finger on those thread tails. That will also help prevent a thread tangle. Changing this from here to here will give you a narrower and wider zigzag, so that's how you can adjust that. So you can see the difference in width here. Now let's try making it shorter. A shorter zigzag, I'm going to put that right down to 1 like that. And of course you can also do a reverse on zigzag. That works well too. Now for a short zigzag, you can see that that would be good for doing applique. Now what about the edges of your fabric? When you have woven fabric like this, it can fray pretty easily. So we want to seal the edges of that seam. We use a zigzag for that. I'm going to put it between 2 and 3 and about the middle. Put your presser foot down. You want to have your needle go past the edge of your fabric on the right hand swing and then into your fabric on the left hand swing. I'm going to make that a little bit wider there. Now we've zigzagged the edge so it won't fray, but notice how it looks a little bit curled like that. We would like a nice flat edge on our zigzag, and there is a foot that you can use that will help flatten that out. That's going to be your J foot. You can see the J right down here. It has this little bar right there. You can see on the back. It's connected on the front, but it's free on the back to allow the stitches to flow through. This is what you would do a zigzag across in order to get a nice flat edge on your fabric. To take the foot off, pull the foot straight forward like that and off to the side. You can put it down here in your accessory tray, put the other foot on, line up that little bar with the jaws like that and push straight back. We want to make sure that the zigzag will go past that bar on the right hand swing, and it's going past it just nicely. We don't want the needle to go into that bar, so make sure that your zigzag is adjusted correctly. And then of course put your threads under the foot like that. So let's try the other side. Here we go. This time I'm lining up the bar that's on the foot with the edge of the fabric. Take a couple stitches just to make sure it's well anchored, and then let's go for it. Let's go slowly to start with, keeping the edge of the fabric lined up, just like I said. Now you can take a couple of stitches back, but you don't want to do too much because the stitches will stack up against that bar on the front. Okay. Now you can see that this is much flatter. What it does is it gives some slack into the thread on the front. See how this is curled without that foot, with the A foot, and with the J foot it's much flatter. Now I'm going to show you another really useful stitch, a triple stitch in the center needle position. So over here on the stitch selector dial, move it to straight stitch, and on the stitch length dial, move this over to S1. Like that. Now what that's good for is if you have a woven fabric that's nice and stable on the straight of the grain, both directions, you'll more than likely have it be stretchy on the bias. That's at a 45-degree angle on the bias. Now what's that good for? If you have a curved seam, say like on an armhole or the back of your pants, if you do just a regular straight stitch, that seam could stretch and the thread could break. But with this, it gives you a stretchy stitch, a nice strong stretchy stitch, and I'll show you what that looks like. So you can see, I'm going to just roll the hand wheel here, and you can see that it takes 2 stitches forward and 1 stitch back. So 1, 2, and then 1 back. So every stitch is going to be like that. This is how it works. Also notice as I'm sewing, I'm simply guiding the fabric with my hands. I'm just steering it. I'm not pushing or pulling. That's important. Now with this stitch, you don't need to do a back stitch because a back stitch is included in every single stitch. And it gives a lot of stretch that will stretch as much as the fabric stretches. So this is going to be great for repairing those pants that the seam has come unstitched from the back of the crotch. It's also a nice bold looking stitch, great for top stitching if you want to have a decorative top stitch. And that is your triple stitch. If you found this video to be helpful, give us a like. And if you have comments, questions, or ideas for other videos you'd like to see, let us know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Bye.